broadcasting again for some reason. I just didn't see that anybody else was on, but if they are, please let me know and I'll get off. But I didn't see that anybody else was on, so I thought I'd go on. And just wondering how everybody is. Now, I was looking at part of MA's stream, which I think I fell asleep during part of it towards the end. But I wanted to talk about something that a lot of people don't talk about, and that is Tesla. Because I have a different memory than a lot of you. For me, he died before 1900, and he died in a hotel. And so that is a different memory for me than most of you have. And also his name was Nikolai instead of Nikola. You know, and I mean, could I be wrong on that? I guess, but I don't know. I mean, I have a damn good memory for stuff. I don't think that I was wrong on remembering this. You know, I think his name was Nikolai for me, and then he died before 1900 in a hotel. And so if any of you guys have that same memory, please let me know. Because I know that other people have said that they agree with me on that. But there's not that many people talk about that. And so if you have that memory, please let me know, because that would be great to know that I'm not crazy on that, and that I don't, you know, that I remember something legitimate, you know. Damn, I've got so many tabs open. I need to close some of these. You guys, I have been sleeping like almost nonstop. I do not know what the freaking problem is, because I've been sleeping absolutely nonstop lately. And, you know, like even my friend, he's like, he was here like around noon or something. And then he's like, I didn't see you doing anything, or I didn't hear from you. And I'm like, yeah, because I was sleeping this whole time. And what's up with that? I mean, is anybody else sleeping a ton? I just don't see how I can be sleeping that much. You know, I don't understand why that would even be a thing, that I would be sleeping that much, where I would sleep from basically noon until now. What is it now? 8:20 Mountain Time, so 10 Eastern. Why would I sleep that long? I don't know. Don't know. Oh. But if you guys can tell me about the Tesla thing, that'd be great, because I really want to know if other people have the same memory as me on that. All right, I'm going to the chat now, finally, and I'm just trying to see if I hope I didn't. I gotta pause that. I don't want to be stepping on somebody else if they're on. So Scott, you say you're sleeping from 12 to 14 hours. I know, that's the whole thing, is that I've been doing that too, and I don't understand. I normally don't do that, and sometimes I. Okay, so Ashley, Scott, Balo, Martha Jane. Scott, I have to go back to your stream to look at it, but I was sleeping. Like I was saying, I was sleeping, so I'll have to go back. You remember? Okay, it's Martha Jane. So you remember him dying alone in a hotel? That's my memory too, but people say it was like 1940s or 1950s, and it was like before 1900 for me. Okay, JW's in, Fizzy Pop. Ashley, I don't know if I said you or not. I gave you courage, Ashley. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I would. Because I'm so idiotic, maybe. Eric Kraft, thank you for being here. But depression plays a part in sleeping. Well, yeah, that's well, I have that. But hi, Joner. Hi, Creek Mary. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I've told you guys on a different broadcast, but maybe some of you haven't heard. I mean, I am bipolar, so I have some weird stuff with me. Not that I'm trying to, say anything other than I always knew there was something freaking wrong with me. But I've always had depression too. But I don't know that that's the whole thing with the sleeping thing, though. I don't think so. Oh, you're bipolar too, Ashley? Yeah, I was only recent. Well, I think it was the last year. And you guys, I'm going to be honest with you that I'm not honest with a lot of people. I don't take my meds. I started to, and it did make me feel better. And it made me feel more normal. But I think that there's something to that as well, where they're trying to medicate us. And I don't know. I feel like I feel like I shouldn't take my meds. And even though I know it did help me when I first started taking them. I know it did, but I don't feel, even though, well, see, I used to take Valium and stuff too, because I would get so upset about stuff that I would dry heave in the mornings. And this is so stupid. I don't know why I'm talking about all this. Okay, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you. Hi, Fizzy Pop. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. It's dumb. I don't want people to get drawn into all this. But and then Scott says, "Great topic." Well, shit. So I have to talk about this now. And you guys, I have been cussing like a sailor lately, but that's kind of me anyways. And I don't know. I don't know what to say about it other than that's just who I am, and I'm sorry because I am a Christian and I don't like cussing and I don't like hearing people cuss, but I cuss. Oh, you are interested, Ashley? Yeah, I was doing so many weird things, and it's only been since about see, I was numb for 20 years. When I was married to my ex-husband, and I don't necessarily want to down him so much because he is my kid's father, because he is a good person. But I felt numb. I didn't feel like I was a part of life, I guess. And then when we got a divorce, I kind of went crazy. I spent a bunch of money at the casino. What's weird though is, and should I say this online? I didn't have sex for 2 years after that because I just, had only been with my husband for 20 years. But then after that 2-year period, I kind of went nuts, which is stupid. And I can't believe I'm admitting that online because this is going to be on here forever. Please don't repeat all this. And, my kids watch me sometimes too, but, we have to talk about this life stuff sometimes, don't we? So, I don't know. I don't feel like I have low esteem, JW. And thank you for being here. I didn't see you come in. But I don't feel like I have low self-esteem, but I feel like there's just been some stuff wrong with me for a long time that I didn't realize, and, like, I don't want to play the victim or anything like that. It's just that I think a lot of us have these problems. A lot of us are bipolar. And honestly, the medicine that they gave me was for schizophrenia. And it's like, shit, But what's weird about that is that when I was a kid, when I was 13, my mom asked me, like, what magazines I wanted to order because, they're... And you know what I ordered? Psychology Today. What 13-year-old orders Psychology Today? What 13-year-old orders Psychology Today? And then I was always into, like, the multiple personalities and crap like that. I mean, a 13-year-old, it's different now, now I could see me doing that, but I did this at 13 years old. But see, that's when I started seeing the changes. I mean, and I've talked about this before. When I started seeing the changes is when I tried to commit suicide when a friend of mine committed suicide. And so that's what makes me wonder. I know May thinks this as well, or that it's perhaps a theory, is that perhaps that we're dead. And also, like, I have a couple friends who were affected and they were in a really bad car accident, but they survived. But what if they didn't, And so, but then it makes me think, well, both my kids are affected. So did I do something to make them die? Like, was I in an accident where they died too? I mean, so I don't know. All right. I'm going to check my internet right now because okay, good. I'm still on. It goes out every now and then. So, Scott, why did you stop taking them, though? Why did you stop taking antidepressants? Now, they told me because I'm bipolar that antidepressants can actually put me into, like, a deeper psychosis type of deal. And so, like, unless you're on meds for, like, bipolar specifically, and if you have bipolar, then you shouldn't take antidepressants. Abilify. Oh, darn. Was Brandon on? Shoot. I didn't mean to. I just didn't see anybody on the list for right now. Brandon, were you on? Did I step on you? I'm sorry. If I can give you a link to come on with me if you want. Or Scott, Balo, or Ashley, or anybody that wants to come on, I can give you guys a link. Oh, Brandon, I am so sorry. I didn't realize. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to do that. I can give you a link to come on here. Oh, that makes me upset that I did that. Let's see. I'm going to gotta go. Because I've given you a link before, but I think you were sleeping. Oh, darn it. All right. Now where's my damn? I don't know why I get so confused sometimes when I'm on a live stream. I'm like, I'm not this confused in real life. All right, I'm just gonna put this. Oh shoot, I probably shouldn't do this because, well, no, I'm not going to. I was gonna just put the general link in the chat for anybody to join me, but I've heard that trolls come in. And so any of you guys who are in the stream, if you want to come on, I will give you a link. Hi, Joner. Hi, QP. Oh, hi, Michelle. You guys, I'm going to tell you my real name. I'm a Michelle as well. M. Hobbs is Michelle, and so am I. That's my real name, but I do prefer people just to call me Rain, though, because it's just a little bit better. Antidepressants is on them. Yeah. They leach calcium? I didn't know that. Huh. But yeah, I wanted to tell you guys my real name. I don't mind. It's not like I want to broadcast it, but for the people who are on my streams, I don't mind telling them. Okay, Brandon, I'm going to send you a link if you want to be on. You can come on. Let's see. I'm going to give you another one because I gave you the one and it's obviously no good now. Okay. And the other day when I was on with Simon Says, that was wonderful. He was a great guest. That was awesome. Okay. Hi, K Smalls. Hi, Eric. Only if you can hide. Ashley, why do you feel like you have to hide? Everybody loves you. That's what's so weird about this is that, I mean, I never dreamt that I would be doing anything like this. I mean, someone told me one time, well, this is when I first was affected, and they're like, you should tell your story. And I was like, I should. And then I did, but it is kind of therapeutic for sure.
So how are you?
Oh, who am I talking to? Is this Brandon?
Yeah.
Hi, Brandon. Nice to have you on.
Yeah, it's great to be on, even though I'm not totally feeling 100%. I'm trying to give it 100%.
Now, did I step on a stream that you had going? I'm so sorry if I did.
Oh, I mean, it definitely wasn't anything planned. I just thought I'd go on after Scott went on for a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Rant like usual, you know.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I tried to check to see if anybody was on, and I didn't see anybody on, so that's why I went. But I mean, I am subscribed to your channel, so I don't know why I didn't see that. I mean, I don't get this the notifications half the time, though.
Yeah, I don't either. I really think they're trying to stop us from getting each other's notifications, because I definitely hadn't been getting half of them.
Oh, I know. And what's great about these the 24-hour live streams, though, even though I haven't been as consistent as I need to be, but it's kind of nice to know when certain people are online, because that way we don't have to rely on the notifications, you know.
Right.
Oh. Okay, so Brandon, tell me. I mean, I've seen a couple of your videos, but tell me your story, your Mandela story. When did you start seeing it, and when were your first things, and have you seen any flip-flops or anything like that?
Well, I guess the first thing that, I've only been awake for about 4 or 5 months now. I always knew there was something kind of off in the world, and I couldn't never really pinpoint it. And it's kind of a funny story how I actually learned about it. It was my 14-year-old niece. She actually brought me a link to YouTube and said, I think you would probably kind of be into this. Check it out. It was like maybe 10 o'clock at night. I'd been babysitting, and I watched it, and it was this young kid, and he was telling me about all these movie quotes, and I knew them, and I'm thinking, well, this is just some type of hoax of some sort. So I started checking into it, and I'm telling you what, I was up all night. I couldn't even go to sleep that night. It was it was awful and exhilarating at the same time. So
I know exactly what you're talking about because I was the same way. And in fact, I'm still I've been telling people I either sleep all the time or I don't or sleep at all. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I could not sleep for days after I found out about it. Because I've seen stuff since the early 80s, but I didn't know this was a thing. And when you find out that your reality can change, it's pretty mind-blowing.
Totally. Really. Because, to me, it's really, the question ain't now, if it's happening, because I know that it is. The question now is, why is it happening, and what's the end game?
Yeah. Hi, Candy Cupcakes. Let me just shout out to some of the people that I see coming in. I love you, Candide. And K Smalls, good to see you. Busy Pop, I think I've said you before, but just in case I didn't. Donor. But anyway, yeah, you guys, it's so mind-blowing. And then what's kind of neat about, like, at first I thought there was just two worlds, and now I know that there isn't. I mean, I know there's multiple realities and stuff, or at least I believe that. I don't know if you guys do or whatever, but because, at first I thought, it either had to be this way or this way. Were you on the Sagittarius? Yes, I was on the Sagittarius arm, but I don't have 100% memories on stuff. Like, for instance, with Moneybags, I'm 80% on with his stuff, and I like watching his voting videos because, like, for most of them I do agree, but like, I'll just say one, and I've said this before on my stream, but Caesar was always CAESAR, and I know for him it was CEA. And spellings are kind of, I've talked about this before where it's like these spellings and these logo changes, who gives an F? Because when continents move, when anatomy changes, when the Bible changes, I mean, those are the ones that are really important to me.
Definitely. The Bible, is really what, shook me to my core whenever I started reading Bible verses that, I have actually memorized and been to church over, and they have changed, that's what really, really bothered me more than anything. I could probably have dealt with any of the rest of it, but, being a God-fearing man, whenever Bible prophecy starts being fulfilled, and I know a lot of people, probably don't want to hear this, it shook me. I really had to check into it, and it's kind of scary in a lot of ways. What is your opinion?
Oh, Brent. Well, I'm a Christian. I'm not a very good Christian, but but I am a Christian, and yes, the Bible changes shook me. And even though I was more of an NIV, I was baptized in the Red Sea when I was over in Egypt. I was rebaptized. And I was actually on a missionary project at that time. And I'm a very lapsed Christian, you guys, but I've never denied God. I will never deny God. And he has done so much for me in my life. I've talked about this on my live streams before, but I lost my wallet in a taxi cab in Cairo, Egypt. I mean, Cairo has the same amount of people as New York City, and it got returned to me. You know? So and I have lost my wallet probably 3 or 4 times, and I've prayed for it every time, and it's always been returned to me in miraculous ways. And it's not only that, though. I mean, it's not just like the, because really in reality, does that really matter? However, what I've felt from God and what I get from God and the love that I feel from worshiping Jesus and God is very important to me. And even though I am a horrible Christian and I'm not living right at all right now, in fact, I could use your guys' prayers. But I'm never going to deny God ever, I mean, he's been very important to me. See, I lived up, I guess, do I want to say this out loud? When I told you earlier, you guys, about when I felt numb, I didn't do anything wrong as far as like I wasn't like openly sinning like I am now. And I am openly sinning right now. But I felt numb, and now, even though I'm not living the right life, I know I'm forgiven, and that's never been like an issue with me as far as that, but I have to feel alive, and I was numb for 20 years, and I did everything right, and my husband still divorced me. He still cheated on me. He divorced me. I did everything right, and I felt so numb that whole time, and I'm like, what? Why did I this is very hard for me to talk about, you guys, and shit, if my kids listen, this is going to be bad, but I felt numb, and I was doing, quote unquote, everything right. And it didn't do me any good at all in the end. He still cheated on me. He still divorced me,
Yeah, but the way that I look at that, that's more of a human flaw. I don't know that God controls all that, honestly. And of course, I definitely ain't no preacher, and I don't want to come off as one that knows, and but that's just my opinion. Humans are full of mistakes. I mean, I mess up every day constantly. That's just me. So humans are definitely imperfect.
Well, but that's the whole thing and that's why I wish people would come to Christ, is because that's the whole point of Jesus. That's the whole point of his dying on the cross for us, is that we cannot be perfect. It's physical, it's impossible for us to live a sinless life. And that's why he died on the cross for us. And that's why we're covered, And so even though I know that, I also know that I'm not doing things right now, that I definitely would like you guys to pray for me about, because it's something that I don't know. And then also I see all these signs too. I think I said this on one of my podcasts, that I had this Scrabble game that was missing tiles and stuff, and these tiles were coming out of the Scrabble game. And my dad died in 1994, and that's the same year that my son was born. And the initials on my Scrabble tiles that I put in my pocket was KEN, and that's my dad's name. That's my dad's name, Ken, And so it's like, I know he's watching out for me. He has to be. He has to be.
So cool.
But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's, when I first moved here, I would go to the cemetery all the time and just sit at its plot. and stuff, because I never really got a chance to grieve, I guess, when he died, because my kids were little and I was living, several states away and blah blah blah. And so but now it's so weird that all of a sudden this comes to me now. It's very it's awesome, but it's a little alarming. I don't know. Have you ever had anything like that, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't at a, really in a great place in my life whenever it came along. I I'm not going to say I was in a bad place. I mean, I was working and I was doing what everybody, what they expect of you in this so-called world we're in. I don't know. I just felt like I've always had this feeling inside of me that something was wrong, and I was missing the big picture. And I always searched, I filled it with alcohol in my early years, and just other things as I got a little older. And, you know, finally I found out that, I'm not crazy. There is something out there that is totally unexplainable, and a lot of these conspiracies that people think are totally nutty, uh, I actually believe a lot of them now. Some of them I still think are crazy. Some of them I, really buy into now, and people think that I'm the nut. But that's okay.
Well, yes, because I think we're all nuts. I think we're all nuts, but I think that's what makes us family, and it's what makes us real. It makes me feel alive to talk to you guys, to be able to talk to people about this stuff where, before it was like, people thought I was crazy, and and maybe I am, and maybe you guys all are, but but we have each other. We can talk to each other, and that's what makes me feel normal, is talking to you guys.
Totally. I mean, yeah. Ever since I found out about this, I really feel like I have a new family. But also I have been blessed. My mother can see the changes. Sister can see the changes. I have three really good friends that can see the changes, but the majority of people either don't want to hear about them, ignore you, or get just plumb hostile. Uh, so
They get
but I
so
have been.
angry. Why? I don't understand that part, because why do they get angry? Because if they just thought we were crazy, why did they get mad?
Yeah, yeah. It's almost. I hate the Matrix idea. Not that I think that it couldn't be what's happening. It's just like the worst possible thing that could be happening. So I don't even want to process it right now. But that would explain a lot. If we're in some type of simulation of some sort.
Well, the more evidence that I see, the more I believe that we are in a simulation, and I hate to believe that. And it doesn't negate my belief in God at all. I mean, a lot of people say, "Well, if you
No.
believe in that, what do you still believe in God?" Well, yes, yes, I do. I there's something about, like, is he letting us know? Is he, like, how are we seeing these changes? Is there some reason to where, why can we see it and other people can't? And then also I have a lot of the end of the world type theories too that I'm not necessarily going to go into now, but I think it's coming soon. And I mean, I don't want to scare people. That's why I try not to talk about it and stuff. But I do believe that the end of the world is coming soon. But if it doesn't, that's good. That's fine. I would be glad to be wrong.
Yeah, totally wonderful if it doesn't end, huh?
Yes. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, I think there's lots of stuff happening right now that is biblical prophecy. I mean, if
Right.
people have read the Bible, you would see that there's something going on. and that, but I don't, I hate scaring people, but it's like, is that my purpose, to let people know? I don't know. I'm trying to find out my whole purpose in this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm totally 100% with you on that. Because my whole life I've seen, people try to link these really long, drawn out theories to the end of the world, and it really don't take much to link this up now. It's right there in front of everybody, right in their face, and nobody's even talking about it, except for
It's because people don't care, and I don't know why. Why would they not care? Like, even my kids, they see the changes, but they don't. They're like, Mom, I have to live my life. I just don't care. And I'm like, how can you not care? I don't understand. And then also, but that doesn't bother me as much as other people in my family, that they get the download. I'll ask them things like, how many people in the JFK car, and they'll say 4. And then all of a sudden I'll show them the picture and they'll say, oh, well, I meant 6. I mean, that is so freaking disturbing when they just, you see the download like right in front of you. It's just, it's
right.
It's horrifying in a way.
I hate it. Yeah, last night I was laying here, and hopefully I'm not cutting you off, but last night I was laying here, and because whenever I'm about this thing constantly, it never ends for me. And I had this, brainstorm. It was an epiphany moment, and I said, "Wow, I think I probably ought to get up and write that down." And I sit up in the bed, and it's, about the time I sit up, poof, it was gone. I could not tell you even partially what the idea was, and it made a lot of sense. But I have no idea now. It was like just gone. And it makes me think that, somebody has some type of control over what we think and what we do to a certain extent. And, we're the ones that are able to resist it, because I have so many dull memories. It is unreal.
Well, I have dual memories too. I think part of the reason I have dual memories is because I started seeing changes so early. And so, like, for me, some of the changes have been there for so long that, yes, I have a memory of of something when I was a kid. But because I've seen changes for so long, I have all the, and I even have, I'll tell you, I have a triple memory on one thing, which is so stupid. It's Cheez-Its. I have a triple memory on Cheez-Its. And it's like, this is so stupid. It doesn't matter when continents are moving, but I'm just putting it out there that I have a triple memory on Cheez-Its. I have a memory of it being 3 different ways.
Wow. Yeah, I've actually pointed out the South America thing to quite a few people, and they're like, "Oh, well, the maps that they made back years ago when we were in school, just maybe they weren't quite correct, or, whenever you have a flat map, it's going to look different than an actual globe." And I'm like, 1,200 miles in the wrong direction, and you're telling me that looks okay to you? I'm like, okay, then I just give up at this point. Whatever. You're totally not affected.
When I saw a 50-year-old globe, and I saw South America where it was, Australia so far north, and I saw, like, let's see, the main things for me as far as geography, well, I've seen lots of stuff with the states too, but that's a whole different thing. Dallas is never where it used to be. And I did a video on that. But the main things for me were South America. Australia is so far north now. It was never that far north. I mean, people, come on. If you don't remember it a certain way, I guess you don't remember. But for the people that do, and then they just justify it away, that's disturbing to me, when they just justify it. If you remember it a certain way and you're just saying, like what you were saying, oh, well, maybe our maps weren't good or whatever. Come on. I don't know. It bothers me.
totally, it's totally perplexing to me, especially, the anatomy too. And actually, my best friend was a LPN, and I just kept asking him over and over and over and over and talking to him about, the effect and the body changes. And his answer every time was, "Oh, they've been doing that for years." And I'm going, "What? What are you talking about? What do you mean? Maybe they have, but still, why won't you talk to me about it?" And eventually he just totally quit coming around. Talked to another one of our, friends that knows him and knows me too. And I said, "Well, whatever happened, to Brian?" And he goes, "Well, he just said he was tired of talking about the Mandela effect all the time." And that was my best friend. And he does not talk to me. He won't answer my calls. Nothing. I mean, it's like he never ever existed. And I've known him for 25 years.
See, that's what is so disturbing because I have four. I have two sisters and a brother, and all but one are not the same people to me, and they don't treat me the same. It's almost like they hate me, and I feel like even that shit. I hope they're not listening, but I feel like my mom hates me, and I don't know what I did to deserve this. I didn't do anything. I mean, they what did I do to be like ignored when I didn't do anything to them? I didn't hurt them. I didn't, I don't know. It's so it's like you're we're not in the same world, They're not the same people, you know.
I really think you're right. I mean, I really do. Like for 2 years, and I was really noticing my friend that's the actual LPN changing. But I never thought about it, and now that I'm awake, I noticed a lot of these people. I mean, I hate to even use the word, but they almost seem evil. If not evil, darker, distracted, just totally different personalities than I was.
Almost like they're out to get you, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
that's
it's
what I hesitate to say so much because people might be listening. I don't know. But the thing is that it's almost like they're out to get you and out to hurt you and out to like make your life as difficult as freaking possible, you know?
yeah, totally agree on that. I mean, it's I said that I actually said today that it was like there's two species of people now, of human, the affected and the non-affected, and we're just two totally different, animals, totally different.
Yes. Now, where do you live, Brendan? If you don't mind my asking.
Oh no, I don't. I live in Tennessee. Good
Now,
old country.
Now, was Nashville always the state capital for you? Because it wasn't for me. Jackson
Uh,
used to be the state capital for me.
really? No, Nashville
Yes.
was always the capital for me. But
See,
I mean,
I have several
go
state
ahead.
capitals that are different. Jackson, Tennessee is one, and then Provo, Utah, Bangor, Maine, Augusta, Georgia. There's several. There's about seven or so that are different for me, and it was always Jackson. It was never Nashville for me. And I've been to Nashville. I used to live in close to Cincinnati on the Kentucky side. A lot of people don't even realize that the airport of Cincinnati is in Kentucky, which it is. But I used to live there for 15 years, and so I've been to Tennessee several times, and I love Tennessee. But Jackson was always the capital for me.
Well, it never was for me. And what I really think is that's where they're going to try to pick us apart whenever this pick us apart by, the few memories, say that we all connect up on 80%, where they're not even going to talk about that 80%. They're going to talk about the 20% that we have different memories on. Uh, I just really feel like this thing is going to blow up eventually, and it's going to have to come out, or they're going to have to censor us, or quiet us down. One or the other has to happen sooner or later.
Well, I believe that too. I think they're trying to separate us, because the thing is that, but see, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was talking about as far as sorry, I got distracted for a second. I was looking at Ashley being from Cincinnati, which is awesome. But yeah, Ashley, I used to live in Florence, y'all. The mall there. Have you have you seen it? And I love Skyline Chili. Ashley, do you like Skyline Chili? So I kind of got distracted. But anyways, what I'm talking about is oh shoot, what were you just what? Tell me what I was saying just now. What were you talking about? What was the last thing you said, Brandon? Because I got totally distracted by Ashley's comment.
Yeah, what I was saying is, either eventually, this is going to
Oh,
happen
yes.
out, or they're going to us.
Yes, that's what they're trying to do, because, and then also I think that, I used to believe that there was only two realities, where it was just the Orion arm, or whatever you want to call it, and the Sagittarius arm, and that's it. Well, I've seen evidences to where that's not the case. We're all from different realities, so that's puzzling as well. I mean, that's just, it's that's puzzling. I mean, how many realities are there?
Totally mind bending.
Ashley says she lived in Florence, Fort Wayne. Yeah, I lived in the Northern Kentucky area for 15 years, and then I also lived in Middletown, Ashley, and I know you know where that is if you're from Cincinnati. But that's funny, I didn't know you were from Ohio. That's where I moved to. I'm just talking to Ashley real quick, but I got my first job in Middletown is where I went. But probably infinite realities is what Eric Kraft is saying. Are we all in like our own personal bubble? And where we do affect other bubbles, where they merge. Like if you see your like actual bubbles in real life, that's kind of what happens. When you have a bubble machine or whatever, or you're blowing bubbles when you're a kid or whatever. Are we in our own actual bubbles that affect other people?
It could be. I was wanting to ask you, what is your thoughts on all these Walmarts shutting down, and them putting all this military equipment in there and making it seem as if there's a FEMA camp there? Do you think possibly that could be where we're headed? I mean, I actually put a lot of thought into that at the very beginning, because I was checking into stuff, and I talked to a friend of mine. He's in the Army, and he said that the Army ordered, and he wasn't supposed to tell anybody this, 500,000 guillotines. And he said he didn't understand.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm sorry to have to, I didn't mean to say that. I hate taking the Lord's name in vain, but oh my gosh, that is crazy. Well, yes, I do believe that. And what's funny about when you mention Walmart is that my grandparents used to live in southern Missouri. And so I was at the very first Walmart clear back in, oh shoot, what town in Arkansas is that? I can't remember right now. But anyways, yes, I believe they're FEMA camps. Yes, totally believe that. And there are so many things. Like I was talking about, you probably didn't hear it, but on my live stream the other day, my uncle worked on the space shuttle. He worked on the tiles, and then my aunt is an executive secretary at in Florida. Can you hear me?
Are we still on, or is it my phone?
Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me, Brandon?
I don't hear anything.
Brandon, can you hear me? Brandon, can you hear me? Darn it. I mean, I can see where you're, I can see you and I can hear you. Well, I'm just going to keep talking until you
Okay.
get back. Can you hear me? I can see where you're, I can see you and I can hear you.
Oh, really? I can only hear you through my computer, but we can do it that way.
I'm just going to keep talking until you... Hi, Salted Cedar. Okay, so anyway, what I was getting at with my aunt and uncle is so weird, and you need to you need to mute it, I guess, or put on earphones, Brandon, because I can hear it echo. What I was getting at with my aunt and uncle is so weird, and you need to. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep talking. Anyway, my aunt and uncle, my uncle worked on the tiles of the space shuttle, and my aunt was an executive secretary. Well, never in my life did my uncle tell me about certain things about like where the nuclear weapons were in different cities in America. I mean, he gave me detailed, specific information. And like, you know, people were asking me, well, do you think we went to the moon and all this stuff? Well, I don't. But I know that my aunt and uncle know stuff, but I don't want to ask them because I feel like, you know, they've made a commitment to the government or whatever about, you know, not divulging secrets and stuff. However, their daughter, Angela, has never worked for the government. And I am going to ask her, you know, what, you know, because I don't feel bad about asking her about stuff. Are you still there, Brendan? Oh, oh, darn it. I don't. Are you still there? I don't hear you, Brandon. Oh my gosh. 11 up and 1 down. I get that all the time. So right now on this stream, 11 up and 1 down. Or wait, maybe that might be a different one. No, that was 6 up and okay, never mind. Oh. Well, I think it's the same link, Brendan. If you can just link to the same one that I gave you. But anyway, you guys, it's so weird because he's never talked. I got distracted by something on Facebook. I'm sorry. A friend of mine. A friend of mine that I love. I know. Oh, it's a 111 there. Yeah, it's 9/11 here, so you must be on the East. Oh, you are on the East Coast. Oh my gosh, they are trying to shut us down. Oh my goodness. Hi, Sarah. Are you there, Brandon? I think I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, good. But yeah, that's weird, and it happened right at 11:11 for you. Is that what you said? We're saying?
Yeah, it was so weird.
Well, or is it? You know?
Normal now, huh?
I mean, well, yeah, and then it was 9:11 here because I'm on Mountain Time, so it was 11:11 for you and 9:11 for me. I mean, and come on. I
Yeah,
mean,
I've actually that a lot. 11:11, I catch that all the time, man. It's so weird. Or like 1:11 or 2:22, and I never heard anything about synchronicities until I started noticing them so much. I checked into it a couple months ago. I mean, I didn't even know anything about that. I was all about the Mandela effect, and that was it really. And until I started seeing all these numbers all the time, and it just got to be too much, or I had to check into that too. So, I
well,
usually
have you heard of this new show on HBO called The Here and Now? It stars Holly Hunter, which Holly Hunter and Tim Robbins are both Oscar-winning actors, and they're in this show that's about the 11:11. Have you heard about this?
no, I hadn't.
I did a couple of videos on it, but not that I'm not trying to, but I mean, I don't understand why they would make a TV show about this if it wasn't a thing. I mean, why would they make a TV show about the 11:11? And also I wanted to tell, I mean, I've said this before in my streams, but my mom, like a couple times, she'll say, put it in the microwave for a minute and 11. Why would she say that? Why wouldn't she say why would she say 1 minute, 2 minutes, a minute and a half? Why would she that's what makes me think that this is weirdness, because why would she specifically say a minute and 11? I don't it's I don't know, all this stuff. I mean, we're all nuts and we're all crazy, I guess, or not, or we're the sane ones.
I believe we are. I really do.
So, like, Brandon, do you have any, like when I was talking about the different state capitals, obviously you said that Nashville was always the capital for you, but do you have anything like that, or
Well, I have the one that everybody talks about, Canberra, Australia. I've never even heard of that place for one thing. To me, Sydney, Australia was always the capital. And today, when I was typing in Tennessee into the computer, evidently I have forgotten how to spell my own home state. Who knew?
Well, people have been talking about the spelling of Tennessee. Now, that's one that's not an effect for me, but I know that it is an effect for a lot of people, and that's odd, isn't it? That's very, very odd.
I mean,
Now,
all of it keeps on coming every day.
hi, Wally. Good to see you. Like to see you in the chat. Well, about Canberra, my mom got married and went on her honeymoon to Australia, and this was about 10 years ago. And when she was talking about this, so I know that it's been Canberra for me for 10 years because she went there, but I was totally confused. I'm like, what are you talking about, Canberra? I've never heard of this. But so it happened for me 10 years ago, at least, because that's when, they've been married for 10 years. And I'm like, wasn't it Sydney? and and also Sao Paulo was, now some people say Rio for Brazil. I remember Sao Paulo as being the capital rather than Brasilia or whatever the F it is now. Sorry for cussing, but I mean, it was Sao Paulo for me, and if people say Rio, I can see that too, but it was never Brasilia. I've never heard of that.
No, I mean, it sounds, totally just messed up. And, my biggest problem with all this is like, you know, the things that we experience in our lifetimes are what shapes us as human beings. And whenever they start taking away our memories and, what shaped us, then what is left? What are we then? I mean, that's my biggest problem with all this. I feel like they're stealing a part of me away.
Well, they definitely are. You're 100% right. And that's the thing. I think they're trying to convince us that this is the way it's always been. Well, and we're like, no, 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 it wasn't, you know? And we're resisting whatever this is. And so I guess if there's like this 1% of us or whatever it is. Now, I don't go into the whole 144,000 thing because the reason is I'm not a male virgin. you know, and the Bible says that if you're part of the 144,000, you got to be a male virgin. Well, I'm not a male virgin, so I don't go in for all that. Now, I know a lot of other people do, but I do believe we're very rare percentage. I mean, I think it's only 1%.
I mean, I actually truly believe that, if everybody in the whole world was exposed, to the effect and gave a chance to see if they were affected, I think the number would truly be in the millions.
Well, yes, but they don't care for some reason. And why don't they? I mean, I think, I don't know if it has to do with cell phones. I don't know if it has to do with like TV programming. Now, what I do specifically is when I watch TV, I I don't put it on the HD. I put it on standard definition on purpose because I feel like there's something weird going on with the HD. And so, I have Dish or whatever, but I put it on standard definition rather than high definition because I think that they're trying to, do stuff. And then also people have captured, like this one lady, like somebody took a picture of her and behind her was the words kill on the TV screen. And, so that's why I try to watch the things that I watch are Star Trek and the original, and also because I've seen all the Next Generation and I love that. And Picard never had a damn crystal. However, but I also watch Twilight Zone, but I watched the original Star Trek, and they never had those damn gold things on their wrists either. It was just plain. And I don't know if you've watched any of that, or what are your feelings on that?
100. I mean, I'm 150% on your side. There was never no weird crystal he's carrying around, and there wasn't those gold freaky stripes. And I don't. I'm almost 100% sure that he said, "Beam me up, Scotty," because.
Oh, I'm 1,000%. I'm 1,000% on that. There was always "Beam me up, Scotty." There was always "Lucy, you've got some splaining to do." There's always like a lot of these other things, and people are saying, "No, that never existed." No, they did. They did, and you're not going to convince me otherwise in any reality whatsoever, because I know what my memories are, and you're not going to mind wash me.
No, me either. You know what? I was actually talking to a friend, another friend of mine, because this is all I talk about. I just really can't help it. But he was talking to me about maybe that it has to do with these chemtrails, that they're putting some type of nanites in them, and we're the ones that are not able to be brainwashed, or possibly these nanites are quite literally changing anything that is possibly possible, that is on a molecular level, is being changed, and they're just doing tests left and right. And it really got me thinking about that theory too.
Well, as far as chemtrails, now I have seen I've seen skies where it seems like the old Earth from when I was a kid. I've seen like blue skies and white puffy clouds actually lately, which was so awesome for me to see because I hadn't seen it in so long. However, have you seen where, like, I can have a totally blue sky here, and I live out in the middle of nowhere, and it seems dark. I mean, it's off. You can tell there's something not right about it. It feels like a computer program almost, or something, because it seemed, now like I said, I've seen like where it used to be lately as well. However, I've seen, to me, most of the time, even if it's a totally blue sky, even if there's no chemtrails in the sky or anything at all, it's how I don't understand how it can seem like it's so dark outside, because there's just a weird cast to the sky,
Everything is different here. I mean, the clouds are lower. There's so many. There's so much different. The sun is. I can remember when I was growing up, the sun had a yellow tint to it. Now it's almost like white, like it's fake light, or some type of LED bulb or something like that. But exactly like you were saying too. Also, it kind of has like a dark. I don't know if it may even be a feeling more than a tint for me. It's just like the whole world is different. Everything's different. It's just really different. That's all I can say.
Well, the sun being white, yes. I mean, but I do see it yellow sometimes. And then I'm wondering, well, what's up with that? Why would I be seeing it, yellow like I remembered it some days, which isn't very often at all. But I do see it as yellow and normal and what I used to see as a kid. And then all of a sudden it'd be like this white sun that, that looks totally off and like a hologram, and just like, so I don't understand. For me, it would be almost easier to explain if it was white all the time now, but it's not. I mean, I've seen, my old sun, I've seen it. And so I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, it's really strange. I mean, it's almost like we're going through several shifts all the time. I mean, some days we're back home for a little bit, and then, we're back somewhere else the next day.
Well, some scientists said where we shift, like, I don't know what he said. I can't remember the exact number, but it was over 1,000 shifts a day. And that to me seems like it could be a possibility because of what I've seen,
Yeah. I'm still sort of, in the beginning stages of this, but I like to think that I am a thinker and somebody that likes to figure things out. I've always been that way, and I'm not here saying that I'm going to figure it out, because there's much smarter people trying to figure it out than me. But I'm not going to give up on trying to figure out what's going on. I'm going to keep on working at it and, try to get to the bottom of it as well as you can whenever you are relying on, internet and media, something that I don't think can be trusted really.
Well, see, that's the whole thing with the Bible changes. When I first saw the Bible changes, I thought, well, this is just something that they're doing. They're effing with us online. That's what I thought. And then when I opened up a physical Bible, a 50-year-old physical Bible, and I saw wolf instead of the lion and unicorns, I'm like, no, I refuse to accept this. I know this was not part of my reality, and I'm not. I mean, that's the whole thing about us, is that, I think other people just, they get the download, if you want to call it that. Like, just like my family member that I said, I asked her, about the JFK, and she said 4 originally. And then all of a sudden I showed her the picture of the 6, and she's like, oh, well, I meant 6. I mean, they just get the download and they just accept it automatically. There's something about us that we refuse to accept that. We know our memories, and we're not going to give them up. I'm not going to give up my memories.
No, me either. Me either. I'm definitely going to fight for them because, like I've said many times before, I truly, believe our memories shape us, and when they start taking that away, really, what's left? I guess,
What is
I guess,
left?
no, it's us affected people that feel lonely and out of place and just kind of out of sorts, and in many different ways. I guess that's what's left.
Well, and that's what's so great about this community is that we have each other, because if we didn't have each other, can you imagine going through this alone? Can you imagine going through this alone and not feeling like anybody understood what you were seeing? I did a video on some psychology terms that I think there was people a long, long, long time ago that have been committed, that they were seeing the Mandela effect all along, but people didn't know how to explain it.
Oh yeah, think about that one for a minute. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Wow. I never even would have ever thought about that, but I would almost bet you're definitely right about that one.
Well, see, because there's okay, I'm going to go through these really quick. Capgras syndrome, which I actually had this because of a drug experience, and I don't want to, I don't want to go into the whole thing there. But there's Capgras syndrome, Cotard's delusion, solipsism, and something paramnesia or something like that. But anyway, all four of those have like a theory, a different theory behind the Mandela effect. And so I'm thinking these people probably were suffering from the Mandela effect. No one believed them, and they were institutionalized as crazy.
And it's yet to be seen if we're going to be put in an asylum ourselves.
Well, yeah, because what you were talking about with, we didn't, sorry, I got sidetracked. What you were talking about with the whole Walmarts and shit like that. I don't know if I'm from Colorado, and so I don't know if you guys have seen like any of the murals at the DIA and crap like that. But there's something odd and weird about the Denver International Airport, where like, and I even remember my sister and my brother-in-law were saying that people were being fired right after their jobs, because they didn't want it to be known what the left hand was, the right hand was doing. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, there's something weird about that too. So, and honestly, I think it's because Denver is like in the middle of the country, and there's something odd about that whole scenario as well. And people need to look into it. But these murals and they're all they're all like Nazi oriented.
Oh yeah, the art. It is unreal. It's like apocalypse real, freaking related. It's really out there.
Well, I'm glad you've seen it, because a lot of people don't even know about it. And I'm like, you guys, this is not normal. Why would there be Nazi oriented art in an airport?
No, especially if little kids like choking on gas and people wearing gas.
Yes!
I really don't want to look at that before I get on a damn plane. Just me though.
Well, nobody does. And I that's why there's obviously something wrong there. And there's something odd and weird and wrong about all that. But people don't care. They just walk by those murals and they say, "Oh, it's no big deal," whatever. And then also, with all the rainbow stuff going on, there's like a lot of rainbow pictures in those murals too. And, that kind of makes me wonder as well, because, there was never rainbow mountains. We would have known about this from when we were kids. We would have known. So
I mean,
what is it with all that, you know?
you know what I mean? I mean, that's like a wonder of the world. I mean, that's something they would teach us about in school, especially like, the Great Wall of China. Do you think that they wouldn't have said, that's the longest wall, but the second longest wall is the Great Wall of India, and the third Great Wall is the Great Wall of Pakistan? Do you think they wouldn't have told us that if it was there? I think they would have.
They definitely would have. None of this existed. None of this existed. Well, and I want to talk about something else that just appeared out of nowhere for me is the One World Trade Tower. All of a sudden, I mean, all the last I heard, it was, two beams of light going up in the underground memorial thing. And then all of a sudden, this wall was built and it was started being built like 2 years after 9/11. No, that is not from my reality. It's not from my reality at all. I mean, if it is for you guys, that might be something different. But for me and a lot of other people, this just One World Trade Tower just popped out of effing nowhere.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, they talked about it at first, and then I thought they said they were going to keep it as a memorial. And then one day, there's this beautiful tower, just out of nowhere. And also the trade centers. I don't know if you ever really looked back on the videos lately. There's like a white band that runs in the middle of each of them. And at the very top, there's these black windows on both towers, and I don't recall none of that at all.
Well, I kind of have a dual memory on that. It's not exactly what they're showing, but I do have a memory of some weird bands on the Trade Center. And so that's odd to me that I remember that. But some of the stuff you're wondering, like, am I getting partially the downloads and I'm accepting some of it and not others? But why would I don't know. I mean, I would hope I would never accept all that, but I have a dual memory of that. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. But with 9/11, I just want to talk about that for a minute because it's pretty important. I knew something was wrong that day. That was when I woke up because, or maybe even 2000, but not with 9/11 in particular. When they didn't show the plane that supposedly crashed into the Pentagon, and then also they didn't show the plane in the Pennsylvania field. I kept waiting for it. I'm like, where's the plane? Where's the plane? Show the plane. And they never freaking did. And then also, you guys, I want to tell you something that used to exist that doesn't anymore, because this is freaking important. Is there used to be something called the Social Security Death Index that you could research people's, if they had died, you could see what their Social Security number was and stuff. And I mean, I looked up my dad because he died in 1994. I looked up like Michael Jackson and Elvis and, all these famous people, and they were all in the Social Security Death Index, all of them. You know who wasn't in the Social Security Death Index when this was something you could still search for online? The people from 9/11, and also JFK Jr. and his wife. Both of them were not in the. So I think that they're probably alive somewhere, and they just said, "Well, you're going to be dead to the world, but you can live on this island or whatever." You know. So, I mean, call me crazy. I don't care. But this used to be a thing that you could search for online, and you can't do it anymore. But it's something that I investigated thoroughly. And all these things are things that I investigated thoroughly at the time. And I think there's something, about us that we question stuff. When we see something random or something odd, we question it and we investigate, and not everybody does it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, obviously, building 1 and 2 fell. What other buildings fell for you?
7 was the only one. However, there was no reason for 7. There was no reason for 7 to fall. And I saw the British broadcast where they announced that it fell before it actually fell. So there's something effed up about that too, you know.
And that's really interesting because if you think back, G.W. Bush and Tony Blair were really, really tight. They were probably one of the tightest prime ministers and presidents in my memory.
Yeah, maybe other than yeah, well, yeah, I would agree with that. But see, well, don't even get me started about what I think about the Bush family. No, because the thing is, I'm not even a Democrat. I'm not a liberal at all. But the things that I've learned over the past few years about that family scare the crap out of me. I'm like, what the heck, you know?
I mean, I really think they're all crooks. I used to. I mean, I used to be a Republican, and now I really don't, even care to vote. To be honest about it, I just think they're all crooks, really.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with you. And people are home now, so I need to get off because I can't talk about this stuff with people here. And I'm sorry because we're having such a great conversation and it's awesome. And Brandon, I want to have you on again sometime.
Thank you.
But I need to get off here, you guys. But I love everybody. I love all y'all. And everybody have a great day and a great night, whatever it is for you. And Brandon, I want to have you on again sometime.
All right. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.
How do I hang this up? I don't know really.